Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm hoping that I'm coming through. It's the second day of doing Zoom and it's working. It's super. I hope you're able to hear me. Sounds like you can. So just wanted to double check. Thank you for joining me, either catching the replay or live. Please make any comments down below. Comments how are you in one word or maybe two words. Just how are you? So today's conversation is a soul food top up, which is about 2 years ago. I started a soul food top up after having a conversation with a really good friend and just feeling so uplifted that I wanted to share that and thought, this is interesting that let's call it a soul food top up because it felt like the soul was being nurtured. So today's conversation is about who are you? And the reason why I'm asking that question is because tomorrow I'm launching the work of a lifetime is probably the phrase that I'll use. But we're launching tomorrow the game that's going to change the world. And it sounds a really grand vision, and it really is a grand vision actually. It's a vision that's not going to just require me, it requires a lot of people. And it also highlights a lot to me of how much our world we've been so used to doing things alone, which led me to the question of asking, who are you? Who am I? Because and if you do get to see this live, do, and actually even as a recall, just press some love so that I can see that I'm not on my own here on the screen. So the question about who am I, it came to me literally just a couple of minutes ago. Who are you? Who are you? So kind of just breathe into that. Who are you? The first thoughts that come up into your head, maybe jot those down if you're willing to share. But who are you? Who are you? Who are you made up of? Because I know for myself that it's something that I've had to question over the years, and luckily always working in the field of care and looking after people, I've seen a lot of things and I've heard a lot of conversations. But one of the things that I'm really aware of is that many of us think that we are a makeup of our parents, of which we probably have some tendencies, some qualities of our parents. But we adopt different qualities. So when I'm thinking about my experiences have shaped me maybe a little bit. And the reason why I say that is because when you really look at who you aren't really who you think that you are. It sounds like a bit twisted, but you aren't, are you? You know, it's kind of, if we can observe how we are, we can also have the opportunity, the chance to change or to choose a different way of being. So I remember my father being extremely angry a lot of the time. My mother was always quite frustrated and overwhelmed by and confused. So our upbringing was a very kind of unstable upbringing mentally, emotionally, spiritually in many ways. We went to church, if you call that spiritual. But I found that in church there were people the majority of people weren't happy. I didn't get a sense of that feeling of happiness amongst the people in church. And yet, you know, for me, when I think about God and I think about Christ's consciousness that lays within every single one of us, it's love. And yet in the church, that's not what I felt. So church didn't really define who I am. My parents didn't define who I am, because if they did, I would be very much like them in many ways, which I guess I've got some traits of them. But I choose to be who I am. I choose to do the things that I've done. I take responsibility for those things. And I think it's so easy to blame other people, isn't it? It's so easy to think, well, that's my mum, that's my dad, that's my brother, that was because of this, that was because of that. But there is no blame when it comes to taking responsibility for who you are. It's just how it is. So tomorrow is a really interesting day because I'm about to launch my life's work. And my life's work has been a bit of a challenge and sharing that with people, because people have never understood it. People have never understood the simplicity of the work that I bring. And yet it's really simple. And I wondered, why can people not get it? Why do people not understand that I've got gifts for you? I've got gifts for humanity. How do people not understand that? And it's taken the lockdown to actually force people to stop, to force all of us to stop. And now all of a sudden, there's an awakening. There's a stillness that has allowed people to think, to stop, to feel, to connect with the deep inner selves, to connect with themselves. And so, you know, that phrase of words falling on deaf ears, you know, that's been my life, the majority of it. But then 2 years ago, I decided to come out of the closet, if that's what it's called, of hiding with these tools and working really diligently to make sure that these gifts that are gifted back to humanity could be in the best form that they could possibly be, so that everybody would get it, that everybody would understand, and we'd have all these people, and they'd all come and they'd all hear it and understand it, and they'd go away and they'd do it and they help more people, and it would just mushroom into this amazing creation that changed the world. And here I am, like, looking at these tools, and it's like, this is it, this is that moment, which some people would kind of say, God, is she a bit crazy? But in a way, I think you have to be a bit crazy to live in this world, because it's kind of, this is just not the place that we all came. This is not the place that we came from. We came from a place of love. And it's really interesting that when you tap into a community that are like-hearted, that all of a sudden you start feeling like they feel. They feel the same way that you felt. So they've got this feeling of something. They don't know what it is, maybe in the head. They can't conceptualize it, but they've got a feeling, and it's a feeling that drives them to do what they're doing. So the difference between the head and the heart, huge, huge difference. So you can think something, you can try and think something out. But in a way, thinking is quite disrespectful when I think about it. So if somebody presents something to me and I don't kind of get it, I'm the kind of person that would be like, okay, leave it with me. Let me get back to you. Because I'm allowing this process, the filter, to remove the filters. So all of us have got all these filters that we've been born with, be it whatever filters. We've got so many different filters: colour of our skin, our gender, our age, our hair colour, our eye colour. We've got all these layers that kind of like these filters, that when we meet somebody, these filters start computing the information. That by the time it gets to the heart, we've not really got to the heart. We just use this bypass of these filters. And these filters can be quite distorted depending on our experiences of them. So all these filters that we have to be addressed. They have to be addressed so that they can filter away to get to the heart. And that's what I teach. I teach how to remove those filters. But it's kind of like those filters have defined potentially who you are. But when you're able to look at the filters from outside of yourself, you realize that's not me. You know, I am not that which I can observe. If you can observe it, you are not it, you're separate. So trying to shift into a place of separation to togetherness, which is a separate. So we separate. We've been born into separation. We've been born into this duality. And yet we don't see it unless it's pointed out to us, or unless we decide to go there. So once we see that there's this duality running alongside, that actually we're not that we observe, so therefore there's a duality, then when you step into the other side by going within, so from that filter inside to inside, wow, the difference in conversation, the difference in connectedness and familiarity. You know, you can meet somebody and think, gosh, I really know that person. That's the difference when we get rid of this filter from this programmed mind that we've had, that we've been born into. When we went to school, you know, the curriculum was the same curriculum for everybody. That's not us. You know, I mean, for me, luckily, I went to school 4 years and 11 months, Larches County Primary School in Preston, Lancashire. And I arrived at that school and I turned the chair around and sat on the chair because I knew that I just thought something's not right about this place. That was at 4 years, 11 months. I had no choice. I couldn't be homeschooled. I had no choice. We went to school and that was it. We just had to put up with it. And, you might have been the same. To share your story, because, this is all about all of us recognizing that actually we are all the same. We've all been treated the same. It's difficult to step up into our uniqueness. But that's what we're here to do. We're here to experience life and live into the full. And then to wake up to, this isn't quite working for me. And this ends up in divorce. It ends up in breakdown in relationships. It ends up in separation from those that you thought that you loved. It ends like that. It throws you into that space of making choices, or you step into that space of making very difficult choices. And then you get to the stage where you wonder, was it all worth it? And that's the stage where I'm at right now. And that's maybe a stage where you're at, that all the things that you've done has led us all to quarantine, all in our homes, wondering what next. And this obviously is a very exciting time to recreate yourself, to press that reset button, doing it differently. And it might be that you just want to enhance the relationships that you're in, that you want to, really step up into the truth of who you are, really take those steps to say, do you know what, I wonder if there is something else that I'm meant to be here for. What am I meant to be here for? What is my purpose? Who am I? And without being challenged by that, you'll never know who you are. Our lives are here to live outside of the box. Many of us have lived in the box. Many of us are in a box. Many of us will end in a box. But it's kind of like you don't have to act out that way of being. You don't have to act that way out of being. And it doesn't all have to end in disaster neither. It's kind of about making choices and empowered choices. And so tomorrow is the launch. And it's been launched several times. I'm saying it's been launched several times. It hasn't actually. It feels like it's been launched several times. I've been working on it for so long. But tomorrow I'm really excited because I'm stepping up into a place of my unknown. I didn't realise I was going to be leading with a major project that can really inspire the world on so many levels, because it involves you. It involves every single one of us. Luckily, I've done the hard work in a way, because I've pulled this plan together. And this plan is a together plan. It's not, some people will say to me, well, you haven't really made a good success of it, have you? Or, you get those little doubting egos. But it's great, those conversations of devil's advocate. I don't know why people want to place themselves into that position, but sometimes I think people feel like what I'm doing is a bit kind of not grounded. It's a bit hairy-fairy. It's a bit whatever those means. But actually, it's got a really strong foundation behind it, a massive strategy that has been worked on for 20 years with lots of different people. People coming along and taking the bite and saying, yeah, I want to know what all this is about, and helping to lead the project onto another level. And that's where we're at. So right now, I'm at a stage where a lot of us are at home. A lot of us are maybe concerned, fears about the unknown, the uncertainty. Maybe work is not going to be there for you when the quarantine door opens. Maybe you don't want to do that work anymore. Maybe you want to do something that's more fulfilling to your heart, to the comfort that you've maybe experienced of being able to be in touch with your family more than what you've done for a long time, being able to connect with friends and build some really strong relationships. I've just met some amazing people whilst being in quarantine. I've met more people in quarantine than when being out, out and about. So there's some wonderful experiences that many of us are creating. And this is another one. So I'm going to show you just a screenshot, because I do love visuals to help to explain things. And hopefully this will be, please let me know if you can see this, and do give me some hearts and some loves. Whoever's online, I can see that there's at least one person online. That's gone off again, so I can't see. That's so interesting how it does that. So I want to share the screen so that you can see. Let's see. Oh, actually, there are comments below. Sorry, I didn't see that. I can see that now. Okay, so hi Cassia, great to see you. How are you doing? Hi, Raymond. So, the 9-hour working week. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I was looking for something else, but this came up. I'm always working on visuals to help to make it simpler to see, because I think a lot of us as children, it's the seeing, it's the viewing of things that really gets us to be creative and to step into that space. So a couple of months ago I was working on something and I thought, I wonder if I can just put this in a bit of a game form, because it is a game. It is a game that I am sharing with you, but this is about just a little structure. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. The screen's gone dark here, so let's hope it does come back on. Yes, it does. So what we've done is I've created a 9-hour working week exchange academy, because as we know that the 9 hours is gone now. There's no hours, time is irrelevant, but I wanted to put it into a context of what we were used to. So I created this little visual to make it a little bit easier for us to see, and I wasn't sure when I was going to use it, and here we are today. So to create the 9-hour working week, now some people might say, well, actually I'm quite happy with my job, happy with my work, happy with what I'm doing. Perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. This isn't a place to compete. This is the place to enhance you, to enhance somebody else. Not everybody is able to offer people something that they can enhance somebody's life with. That's what this tool is. This tool is to enhance people with what they're currently doing. This is about every person maybe reaching out with one hand, two hands to two people to show them. Thank you so much for the love and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. It's great when you know that you're not just talking to yourself. And so it's about holding somebody's hand, two people's hands, and saying, look, you are special, and I'm bringing you to have a look at this. This might be for you, it might not be for you. Experience it, taste it, pass it on to the next person. This is not meant to be held on to. This is meant to be passed on to other people. And I can't stress that enough, because many of us will hold on, we hoard things. We kind of like, this whole, as we're in quarantine, people went out there running, grabbing things. This is about, hold on, this is about passing it on. It's about paying it forward. So the 9-hour working week is really important to know about, to understand. Bless Terry. I shall tell you, Terry, I'm going to give you a link for the Zoom tomorrow. I'm so excited for people to be there. I think I'm excited about sharing that with you. So I shall send that link later on after I've done my video today. I'll send that. Thank you so much for being here and for your comments as well. Really appreciate that. I'm just basking in that at this moment in time. I really am. So this is about being able to share information to other people. So this isn't necessarily about, you might look at this, I'm inviting people to come and look, to listen with fresh ears, to see with fresh eyes. Every day our world is changing, so therefore we must be changing. So this is, even if you've heard my work before, this is about, you haven't heard all this just yet. Hi, Angie. Angie, I hope you're able to make it as well tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching right now. It means a lot. So I'll just take reheart. And so the intention is for each person to take this information and allow it to germinate, allow it to reach inside to do what it needs to do. Because the way that this world works, our Christ consciousness, which is God within us. Oh, I heard somebody mention God, G-O-D, what it stood for. Giver of dreams, giver of dreams. God, she really is the giver of dreams. So I'm going to write that down, I remember. So giver of dreams has given us all this opportunity, giver of dreams, for people that are givers. This isn't for people that are takers, this is for people that are givers. And so this game plan, as you can see in front, I'm going to try and see if I can enlarge it actually, because it's a bit, maybe it's a bit small. Not sure how to do that on here. I best not touch it. So right at the top here, what we've got is, we've got the goal is to nurture and teach 10,000 entrepreneurs how to create a 9-hour working week academy. Now, as you know, that's an impossible task for one person to do it on their own. but I'm determined to do it anyway. But it means that we need a lot of helpers, a lot of messengers to listen to this work, to resonate with it. If it feels right, then spread the word. So the aim is to nurture and teach. Each of us are teachers. Each of us have got a seedling that is inside of us, and we're trying to reignite that seedling to be able to bring about a different world, a world that actually has got compassion and cares. Because the more that we care for our inner self, the more that we push that out into Mother Earth and heal. So we're putting ourselves first is putting God first, and putting ourselves first is putting God first. So it's about looking after ourselves, because as we do that, we're looking after everything else that's around us. And that's one of the biggest, thank you so much, Terry, for sharing the video. That helps hugely. By us all doing that, by all of us taking care of ourselves, we go within ourselves and we start looking after our God consciousness, which is inside of us. We start giving fire to our dreams. God gives us our dreams. They're already, it's part of our blueprint. It was in us when we were born, but it was just that we had this comparison. So the majority of us have been living this comparative life. We haven't been living this inner life, and that's where our God consciousness is. So the first thing that the aim is to share with you what the 9-hour working week is. There's many people, like I said, I think it's 30,000 people who are just registered for for dole, social security. It's not even social security funds. That's just an old word, the dole. But registered for unemployment. That's just since the corona, 30,000 people that are registered for unemployment. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's many more. That's just in the UK. So the point is, there's a lot of people that are looking for an alternative way of working, a way to boost their income, a way to generate money, a way to still have this quieter life, this more relaxed life, to look after themselves and to really apply self-care. So that's what we're bringing to the table. This is a 20-year plan. So as you go around the game, as you go around this little game here, it says there's 8 steps. So the first step that we go to is first the 10,000, to nurture 10,000 people to teach. The way that we do it is you experience it. So again, it's not a head thing, it's about an experience. So your experience, again, the game is called Empower in an Hour. And I ask people just to give me their testimony. So obviously, if there's 10,000 people that are coming to play the game, I cannot physically empower 10,000 people in the shortest of time. It would kill me. We need an army of people to help to facilitate people through this amazing game. I mean, it is an amazing game. It's called Empower in an Hour. And it came to me just within less than an hour because I was frustrated. I was like, come on, we need something to help really boost and empower people much quicker than telling the story. And the game came to me. So my goal is to train people to facilitate the game. And as we're doing that, asking for donations, that's all people are asked for. That's going to help to fundraise for the app of the game to be put online. So when that app is online, it's going to be much easier then for more facilitators to help train people and take them through the Empower in an Hour. If you haven't experienced Empower in an Hour, tomorrow there will be an opportunity for you to see it and to experience it, and to have some people who, I don't know who's going to be online, who's played the game, but I'm putting together at the moment some of the testimonies that people have given. But it is an opportunity for people to train up to facilitate the game. But the first thing that you need to do is experience it. So that's the play. If you're understanding that, please do put in the chat understood or I'm with you, just so that I know, or send lots of hearts and then I can see that you're understanding or something. Just give me some indication that you understood that. If there's anything that you want me to repeat, then do write that in there as well. So that's the first part, is to play Empower in an Hour and to get the testimony. It's an amazing tool to help to align, but you're going to get, again, you'll get to hear more about it tomorrow. It's a very fun game and it's an opportunity to be creative. Thank you so much, Andy. Appreciate that. So the next step, once you've played Empower in an Hour, you're empowered. And as you go around the board, you can see you can go down this yellow block and it goes along to co-create at the Tell Your Story and Empowerment game. So co-create of the Tell Your Story. You need to ask a lot of questions. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Angie. Angie, do you know what? Either think about them. I don't know. Hopefully you're around tomorrow at 3 o'clock UK time. I don't know what time that'll be for you. But if you are around tomorrow, that'll be fantastic for you to come into the Zoom with Terry and I, and hopefully with Raymond as well. I'm going to be putting out the invitation later on for people to know where to go to, but I'll be explaining more and hopefully just, explaining more. I will know what I'm going to present tomorrow. I don't plan ahead. It's called Intuitive. So the author, and so what happens is when you play the game, and then as a co-creator, the co-creator is somebody who shares their story. Somebody who shares their story and becomes an author. So we have a blueprint. It's very structured. It's 24 chapters. And those 24 chapters have all been written, but there's one page. So there's 3 pages. There's 2 pages have been written. The last page is for you. So it's basically, there's a framework that's already in existence. A lot of people will say, oh, I've always wanted to write a book. Don't know where to start. This book has already been started and almost completed for you. You just need your part. So it really is a hand-holding journey. So it means that somebody who gives you the book has wrote their story. So we're walking our talk. So this is a walking your talk structure. This isn't somebody saying this is what you have to do. This is somebody saying, look, this is what I've done. It's up to you if you want to. Take my hand if you choose to. So it's coming from a very different angle, and it needs a lot of people to understand it, but to understand it and to share it. And in the sharing, that's when people basically get the reward from their exchange. So that's where it's a 9-hour working week exchange. You don't start off with 9 hours straight away. You build up to the 9 hours. So you start off with playing the game, telling your story, and then as it emerges, it evolves, it helps to elevate you. And it's such an incredible process that even it's only now that I'm talking more about it, because people didn't understand it. I can't say that I didn't understand it, because I did. I just thought this is a compassion project. It's a divine initiative. It's a gift back to mom's children to be able to help to create balance in the areas of health, money, personal development, hopes and dreams, legacy and contribution. It's about being able to breathe and spend time in doing the things that you love doing. It's all part of helping to create in this new energy, this new earth that we're moving towards. But instead of trying to understand the whole of the steps, it's really just about, hi Duncan, Joe Duncan, great to see you. It's about starting at step 1, doing step 1, going to step 2, doing step 2. We've got a tendency to want to dash to the finish line. This is about an evolving process. So therefore, as you're moving around with the information, you evolve as a human being, as a spiritual being, as a compassionate being. And by the time you get to the finish, you're leading the process, because you've just taken the steps naturally. It's not been, right, I remember doing my counselling course and person-centered counselling, and people were saying they wanted to be a counsellor at the end of it. And I thought to myself, well, how do you know that? You're still going through the process. And I think that's what our education system has taught us, that we do a course and at the end of it, we're going to be this, but it's the journey. Thank you for the love. It's the journey. It's the journey is the experience, and it's part of the process. So we then move on into, after we've told our story and we become an author and a co-creator, we then have the option to become a facilitator of change. And what that means, a facilitator of change is hand-holding, like I mentioned at the beginning, hand-holding a couple of people. It's actually, a bit more than a couple of people, it's just in a group, hand-holding people through the process. That's it. It's hand-holding those people. That's where we go back to the beginning again, the 10,000 entrepreneurs teaching how to create a 9-hour working week. And so when you're at the stage of the facilitator, the intention hopefully will have lots of students, and it's those students that you'll be taking through the process. And that's what it's all about. So Angela, I want to help mums with children on the spectrum. Brilliant. The journey I want to share, I believe we can relate to in one or another. There's lots of, absolutely. This process, Angela, is about helping we're going to branch out into what we're going to be. So as well, our goal as a facilitator of change, what we're doing is holding our hands out to enable other people to come through, to come over the transition that we're in. And as we're doing that, we start developing our strengths more in terms of what we're here to do and the nature, the specific uniqueness. But what we're also doing, we're doing this bridging work. So we're working with our passion, and at the same time we're enabling other people to work with their passion. And as we're doing that, so we're offering our service to what people need. Our specialist areas are not for everybody, and that's okay. What this process does enables us to feel confident and comfortable in our way of being, but also as well our generating of our income, because that's a real key part to what this process is. All the processes that with this process has been paid forward. So I don't actually get paid. I've not got paid from this process. All the fees that we take for the process get paid forward to each facilitator, to each co-creator of this process. So it's upon your success that I get paid. It's like, if this doesn't resonate with you, if it doesn't work with you, if it doesn't say what's on the tin, then I don't get any income to be able to even put back into the crystal schools. And so what we do, you can see this as you're moving along, this 6-figure, a third, 67%. Those are some of the figures. But again, we discuss those as we're going along. But we've got this split of funds into different pots so that we can fund the crystal schools, which I'm really excited about. But it all depends on each facilitator being strong enough to be able to hold the space for other people to come through. That's how it works. And so the intention, Angie, which is great that you've said that there, is that as people learn this 9-hour week that's going to be with us for a long time, it means that people can exchange, but they're building the foundations now. So in order for us to build that 9-hour working week, we have to get to know each other and connect with each other, and to build that trust with each other, to be able to then enable other people to do the same. And the way that we do that is by addressing some simple, very simple, but fundamental questions around how we were brought up, letting go of our past, understanding our past, healing the past, and elevating ourselves into the future. And so the future is now. So it's really being in that space of being. So one of the questions that we ask in the book is, whilst you're busy doing, how is your being? This is a being project. This isn't a doing project, which is why what I say to people is they're exchanging their doing for being. And how we do that is we hold space to help other people to share their story. And then the rest of the game is it's just the figures, it's just the fundraising aspects of it. It's £5 a chapter to actually share your story, which sounds absolutely, what, £5 a chapter, that's all. This process is a £5 project. That's what it is. And so that £5 gets paid forward, and it gets split into different sections, and that's how we fund. So the more people that come along and learn to facilitate and empower another to tell their story and another and playing the game, then the funds that we generate, they're paid forward for the facilitators, for the core organisation, and for the crystal schools. So that's what's going to be presented tomorrow. I'm hoping that that's been a pleasant enough overview. We've actually only covered 5 steps that are there, and because that's just how easy it is. The rest of the process, thank you, Angie. The rest of the process is really pretty simple. It's the money side of things, but it's not really something to worry about. It's just that you are going to get rewarded in terms of compensated for your time within this school. But the first thing that we do is start off by recognising that the goal is to nurture 10,000 entrepreneurial, spirited, compassionate people who believe that our world needs to change and knows that our world is changing, but it's coming from a place of compassion and teaching and learning together. So thank you so much. Is that how much is £5? Bless you. That's a different fact. In US it's about $7, maybe $7 or $8, something like that. Obviously it's fluctuating, but it's £5 a chapter. That's what it is. And people can decide to, it's really a donation. I mean, it's really probably more like £50 a chapter, which would be what, $70, something like that, $70, $80, because of the way that we do it, Terry. But it's been paid forward. So it means that we should be, yeah, it should be much more than that, but it's been all paid forward so that everybody can access the training, really. It doesn't need to have a massive price to it, but that doesn't undervalue the process that it is. A lot of people think that a lot of people in the 3D world have felt that I could have been crazy and offering a process at £5, $7 or $8 a chapter, understandably. But the point is that it doesn't have to be a massive amount of money. It just needs to be a massive amount of people doing a little bit. So that's the goal, is to reach a lot of people, all of us doing a little bit, paying it forward means that then we can use those funds to continue paying forward to some of the amazing projects that are needed. This can happen overnight. It's not a slow process. It can happen pretty quickly, but it really does depend on each of us doing our bit. So thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm going to send you a link, and hopefully this will be explained differently. It won't be explained the same, but hopefully this has just been a really interesting overview for you to have a look at and to ponder over. Look forward to your questions tomorrow. No problem. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Angie. And thank you, Raymond, for being here. Bye-bye for now.